Hello, and welcome to the teaching ministry of New Eden. I'm Oscar Crawford. Thank you for joining me. Let's pray for a moment. Creator of the universe, master of all that is and that ever will be. Thank you for the privilege of sharing with friends and loved ones one more time. Use me in such a way that people may be encouraged and feel loved. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, today I want to talk to you for a bit about the idea of how love transforms. Love transforms. The word transforms means to change, literally to change from one thing into another. Same source origin, process takes from one existence to another, and the example that most of us are always familiar with is the caterpillar to the butterfly. One from egg to worm to one of the most beautiful creatures that we observe here on planet Earth. And we'll look today to see if there's any application for the life of the human being. You do realize that we evolve ourselves. I mean, first thing when we're created by the woman and the man who created us is we're just a little bitty clot. And we start to subdivide and subdivide and subdivide until generally about 9 months later, one of us is born. A really little thing, 5, 6, 7 pounds. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less, but we all generally come here the same way. Then we evolve from being children to infants, to adolescents, to adults, and to, in my case, senior adults. So, we all evolve. So I want to talk today about the power of love to transform. And I want to read to you from the New Testament, the Gospel of John. I want to talk to you about what an extreme case of love's transforming power accomplished for one who is dead. You know anybody who's living essentially a dead life? They're alive, their physical body's alive, but they have no joy, no zest, no energy. It's just like they're taking up space and time, depressed, sad, and just not accomplishing anything, and no sense of the ability to accomplish anything. Well, today we're going to look at a person who literally was dead, who was transformed from being dead back to life. And we want to take a look to see if there's any application for that with our human conditions and circumstances, and see if we can apply them in such a way as we can rise up from dead conditions back to fully live conditions to be functional and productive. You'll probably hear me use those words a lot in time to come. Being functional and productive. It's one thing to be alive. It's another to be functional and productive, to be giving and loving to others, which is our service. I mean, how much joy do you get out of giving love to someone who enjoys the gift of your love? You look at the smiles on their faces, just the energy that you see rise up in their face, in their eyes. It's like they're almost electric just because you took a moment to give them love. In whatever context you did. I mean, there's lots of ways to give love, but when you give love to someone, it is a transforming power from the condition that they were in before you gave them love. It's radically different to after you've loved them. And the more you love, the more you want to love. The more you receive love, the more you want to receive love. This is the divine transaction that if we ever really catch this, we'll get busy giving love away every day, every minute, every moment, because it feels good to do that. And we're going to talk about some other examples, but I want to read to you for a moment. It is from the Gospel of St. John, New Testament Gospel, St. John, and I'm reading to you today from the Life Recovery Bible. Bonnie and I have done significant work with people in recovery from hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and this was the Bible that she chose for our work some years ago, and I'm going to read from it to you right now. Do you believe that if you were dead and you're back to life, that's a sense of recovery? Oh my goodness, I believe it is. And we literally can recover from our hurts, our habits, and our hang-ups to become what? Functional and productive in our lives. All right. And I'm going to be reading from verses 37 to 44. Now listen, this is quite a story here. Sisters have sent out a report to Jesus that their brother's sick, and they're concerned about him, but they believe that if Jesus can get there, Jesus can fix him. How many people just want to be fixed? Yeah, we all want to be fixed in some context or another. But these two sisters named Mary and Martha, their brother's name is Lazarus. Lazarus means the one whom God has blessed. These two sisters are concerned about their brother, so they send word for Jesus to come and visit them because they're concerned, and they know Jesus really cares about all three of them, but particularly about their brother. So here's the text. But some said the fellow healed a blind man. They're referring to Jesus now. There's stories about all the kinds of things that Jesus is doing. And so they've heard that Jesus healed a blind man. This fellow healed a blind man. Why couldn't he keep Lazarus from dying? And again, Jesus was moved with deep anger. Hear me. And Jesus was moved with deep anger. Then they came to the tomb. Jesus is angry about people's unbelief. I mean, how many people would you just like to turn their mind on so they could believe in their possibilities? Well, if there was ever a time in human existence to believe in our possibilities, that time is now. But some said, this fellow healed a blind man, why couldn't he keep Lazarus from dying? And again, Jesus was moved with deep anger. Then they came to the tomb. This tomb was a cave. Tradition for this period in time, first century Palestine, Israel, what we loosely call now the Middle East. They buried people inside rocks, inside caves. And so once laid inside the cave, women generally would come and adorn the body with wrappings and sweet smells as a sense and source of embalming to preserve the body for as long as it might last. But just one last moment of honoring. So he's in this tomb, and then the people all came to the tomb. It was a cave with a heavy stone rolled across the door. Now you need to think of this stone as a wheel-looking stone, that it's big enough and heavy enough that once rolled into place, ain't nobody supposed to be going in there anymore. All right. Roll the stone aside, Jesus said to them. Now this is unheard of. It's like going out to a cemetery and somebody saying, hey, we're going to go out and get our dead relative or dead friend up. We're going to wake them up so they can get up and go with us and do what we're going to do. But Lazarus is dead. He's in the tomb. He's been embalmed. He's been dead, you're going to learn in a moment. He's been dead for 4 days. And so his sister Martha says, by now the smell will be terrible because he has been in there for 4 days. Jesus says, but didn't I tell you that you will see a wonderful miracle from God if you just believe? What do you need to be believing for today? You need any miracles in your life? Oh, I can always use miracles. I don't ever need to see one because God has been good to me already. God has saved me from a number of things and people that I love and just done what I perceive to be miraculous things in our lives. But who doesn't want to see a miracle? Love to see one. My eyes are open expecting them every day. I literally expect to fall in love every day. Now don't make that, don't adulterate that with some sex ideas. That's not what I'm talking about. But I literally fall in love every day. Can be a person, place, or a thing. Usually it's person. And I really get a kick out of doing that. There's that divine moment where our eyes connect, our souls connect, and we feel good about the connection. May last a minute, may last a lifetime. All right. Didn't I tell you that you will see a wonderful miracle from God if you just believe? So they rolled the stone aside, and then Jesus looked up to the heavens and said, Father God, I thank you for hearing me. You always hear me. But I said it because of all these people standing here, so they will believe that you sent me. Then he shouted to the man who's dead, calls out his name and says, Lazarus, get up. And the dead man, Lazarus, came, bound in all these grave clothes that he'd been wrapped in, and his face was muffled with a napkin around his face. And Jesus told the people around him, unwrap him. Other versions say loose him. Unwrap him and let him go. We thank God for what the recorded word has said to us. Think about this. As I indicated to you before, we know a number of people who are physically alive, but are living as though they're dead. They're neither functional nor productive. They feel alienated. They feel kicked to the curb. They feel like nobody cares. And we have this awesome privilege to love people to the point that they can feel love and get that power back inside them so that they don't only just take love, but they get it, it's planted in them, it grows, they start giving it away. The more love you give away, the more you're going to get. There's a law. An original Genesis law back from Eden. We talk about being New Eden, and I'll be talking to you more about that over time. But originally in Eden, one of the things that God said to the people, every seed reproduces fruit after its own kind. Man, you sow love, guess what you're going to grow? You're going to grow love. And you don't just grow what you sowed or you planted. You grow a crop. You grow a harvest. You grow so much you've got an abundance, and you can keep on giving it away and giving it away and giving it away. And I hope that that's what you're doing in your life every day. I really do. Now, I want to give you just a couple of stories, and we won't be long today. I want to give you a couple of stories that kind of dramatize this in ways that you can see it and feel it. Bonnie and I are doing a film this spring that we're going to be calling A Cup of Coffee. Who would think that a cup of coffee could sign off on love that has transformed people from dead conditions back to life? Listen to this. What we talked about some time ago doing, and we think about it in the ways that we met. How many of you know people, maybe even you, that you had this scarring experience from love in your life where you wound up with a broken heart? Somebody hurt your feelings. You thought you'd never get over it. You just felt dead. Or some other kinds of conditions. Maybe you feel like poverty is killing you. Maybe you're in a relationship where somebody's treating you really bad. You feel like that's killing you. Maybe some ethnic condition or social condition or financial condition has got you feeling like you are just dead. Zombie, as it were, right? Dead, but alive. Dead, but alive. And so you'd like to live again. And so what we've done, we've taken the story of a man and a woman who come to two different ends of a long bridge. And one says, just talking to himself, you hear this in your mind, and it might even make you think about It's a Wonderful Life when Clarence jumps in the water to save the guy who's getting ready to jump in and kill himself so his family will get the life insurance. So both of them approach the bridge. Say one comes from the south end, one comes from the north end. Well, the guy, he's sitting there and he's talking about all these conditions that give his life the experience of feeling dead, that he's just ready to end his life. He talks about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that just make his life miserable, and he can see no other way out than to jump in and kill himself. Well, on the other end of the bridge is a woman who's just approached the bridge. She's ready to end her life. People have treated her bad all of her life. She's miserable. She's alone, feels defeated, and doesn't see any other way out than to take her life. And so as they've come to these conclusions, they don't know each other. They've never met. They start walking to the middle point of the bridge at its highest point where they can jump off. And as they are looking over the bridge, they notice each other. And in the noticing of each other, one says to the other, I really don't want to do this. And feel that deep emotion. Can you imagine feeling so bad you just want to take your life? You want to end it. You want to do anything to take you out of the pain that you're feeling. But one says to the other, I really don't want to do this. And the other says, I don't either. And they decide they'll go and get a cup of coffee. Who do you need to be having a cup of coffee with that might encourage them to experience more life, a better life, to come from a dead condition like Lazarus? Who do you need to be saying, loose them and let them go, unwrap them, free them up, let them go? They got life to live, they got people to love, they got things to do in order to be functional and productive. Cup of coffee. Simple thing. Love transforms. Love will change. I want to do one more for you. And this is some work that we did years ago called The Hawk and the Ladybug, where a hawk is out just doing what a hawk does. Hawk is a major bird, major player in the air, flying around, sees a host of ladybugs on the ground. You know, they see really, really good from far distances. And most of the ladybugs, when they see the hawk, they run, but one does not. And so the hawk decides to descend and engage the ladybug and have a conversation. How many people do you need to just notice and take time to have a conversation with them? You may be the one to raise them up from dead conditions to life, transforming love, raising from the dead to life, to being fully functional and productive. Who do you need to be having a cup of coffee with? All right, so when the hawk comes down, the wingspan of the hawk is so big and wide that when the ladybug is looking up, the hawk totally covers the sky and it becomes dark. She can't see at all. And so the hawk says when he lands, why weren't you afraid of me like all the others? And she simply says, if there was the need to be afraid, I would no longer exist. I do not fear you. I would really like to fly with you. And so they make a deal. She perches on the back of his neck. They take to the sky and they fly. It's like they fly for hours, but it's that time when love hits you that you could be alive in that moment forever and not 1 second would have passed. You ever had a moment like that? They are good. Alive in a perfect moment. It's a good place to be and experience. All right. So when the hawk decides it's time to take the ladybug back, she says, oh, so soon? And he says, look, I don't want to wear out my welcome here. And I don't want people to be afraid for you because they don't know where you are. Yeah, I'm going to take you back home. If you'd like to fly again, we can talk about that. We can work that out. And I would love to fly you with you. And she says, yeah, deal. We'll do that. You come back to fly with me again. What I want you to do for me is I want you to kiss me. Who do you need to kiss today? Who do you need to hug today? And who will your touch, who will your calling out their name, bring them back from dead conditions to life to be fully functional and productive? Somebody in your orbit right now is living out dead conditions and you don't see them. Take time, open your eyes, take that napkin off your face and see. There are many who are suffering from the lack of touch and love and the voice of care and concern, and you just may be that. When the ladybug goes back to her village, the elders of tradition and convention, they imprison her because she's put the village at risk by messing around with this hawk. Doesn't she know that a hawk is a predator? It could just kill them with one bat of its wings. And so when the hawk comes back to pick her up to fly again, he wonders what's going on because he's invested some thought into the ladybug, and he believes they really got a little something going. A new friendship has been established. You need to make friends with anybody. A new friendship is established, but he listens in with his keen ear and learns that the elders of tradition and convention have locked Ladybug up. And so he goes to engage them. And quickly these two say, look, you can have Ladybug, just don't kill us. And Hawk says this thing that predators say. If I wanted you dead, we wouldn't be talking. But they bring Ladybug out to give her to him, and Hawk says, look, Ladybug is my new friend. If she comes with me, it will be by her choice. And so she chooses, and when she says to him, do you remember the deal that we made when we would fly again? You have to kiss me. That was what I asked to confirm our friendship. Remember that? Wasn't that long ago? And so as the hawk leans down to kiss the ladybug, just with the beak, a peck on a little tiny ladybug, that ladybug turns into a beautiful lady hawk, and they take to the sky together. What am I talking about today? I'm talking about there is a power alive in our universe, the power of God to bring dead things back to life, to transform caterpillars into butterflies, to take darkness and turn it into day, to take sadness and turn it into happiness, to take poverty and turn it into prosperity, to take miserable conditions and turn them into joy, to people can become fully alive and conscious to be living fully functional and productive. You want to live like that? I'm betting you do. We all do. Give up. Be willing to surrender. Your hurts, we've all got some. Your habits, we all got some. And your hang-ups, your victim notions of everybody's treated you bad. Hey, so what? We've all got that. Now what? Now decide that you are going to allow an opportunity to have a God experience in your life. You can't do this by yourself. You really can't. But God in you and others around you who will care for you, and you can rise up from your dead conditions and live fully functional and productive. The idea today was love transforms. A cup of coffee can confirm that. I hope you were able to hear me today, and if you're living in miserable conditions, don't do that alone. People will love you. There's some people I love so much, sometimes I want to give so much to them. They're not ready to receive it, but there's some people my heart just goes out to, and I just want to wrap my arms and my mind around them to help them feel loved, if just but for a moment. Who's like that in your orbit? If that's you, tell somebody. Tell somebody that you're hurting, and you're unhappy, and you're miserable, and you're living life like a zombie feeling dead, and that you are ready to be called out of the tomb of your misery back to life. If you don't know anybody like that, get with me. I'll be putting an email address at the bottom of the screen that you'll be able to see. Send me an email. Talk to me. Talk to somebody who can help you. I may know somebody in your area. Now, internationally, I may know fewer. I know some people in some other countries, but internationally, I may know fewer. But across the country, I may know somebody you can reach out to talk to, who will love you and help you to emerge from your dead conditions back to life. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'm Oscar Crawford. This is the Teaching Ministry of New Eden. And next week, I'm going to spend some time with you talking about forgiveness. We all need to do some. After that, we'll start to deal with our anger. We'll deal with our issues. We're coming from death to life. God bless you.